Welcome everyone. Glad you're starting to come. Hey, Claude.
Hey,
how are you
hey,
doing?
Gio, how are you?
Very well. I thought I would get you to listen to the music of your nephew for the first few minutes. It just came out.
I was asking, what are you listening to?
So yeah, it is called Meditate, and it's the album that they produced. There's 20 artists playing, and Wadi is one of the three leading artists on this album.
And is it out?
It is out now. It's on. You can find it on Spotify, and you will be able to find it also on all the other portals. But in a few days. Right now, it's on Spotify. First 2 days, over 1,000 streams on each one of the songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, wow. And the leading song on this album has 210,000 people who have been streaming it. So it's nice.
That's good.
Yeah. And how are you doing?
I'm well, very well. Very good. Looking forward to our chat. Yeah,
same here. Same here. We're just gonna let people come in and get ready for the chat at the bottom of the hour, 5:30.
And I just need to not look at you, but look at the camera.
We all have to do that, to learn to do that. Yeah. So we were actually with people from Semicity just now.
I know that.
It was really great. It was really great.
I already had some feedback actually in the last few minutes. So.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome everyone. We will start in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, with our guest today, Claude Borna, who we are absolutely delighted to have. So welcome, thank you for coming in. And as I boasted as a proud father, we're listening here to the album of a group of 20 young people who we believe have done a fantastic job in the quality of music. And our son is also part of the group. So.
I open my eyes, let the sun bleed through the blinds. Set my alarm 2 times if you knew the vibes. New Balance and blues, I keep my shoes tied. But before I slip them on, I roll up a zoo ride. After that, I'm out the door.
That's a great way to get into it.
Come again?
That's a great way to get into our chat.
Absolutely, absolutely. You and I love music, and yeah, that's good music from young people. Yep. So it's amazing. There are 20 of them on the album.
Wow.
So we wish them good luck.
Indeed.
And thank you for the claps, everybody listening here. So I'm going to wind down the music so that we can get started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome everyone. We'll give them a minute or two still. I tend to start on the dots, and people have different things that they have to do. So let's give them another minute before we start. You look absolutely fabulous, Claude, as usual.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You look great too. I don't know who you're wearing. This blue is really nice.
Thank you very much. Actually, the tailor is from Benin. I got this one in Cotonou.
Great.
Yeah. So we are delighted that you could find some time. We know you're extremely busy to have this interview with us, and we can't wait to share with the public all the wealth of experience that you have. So let's get started.
Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the Acosphere Instagram Live. Today we are delighted to welcome Miss Claude Borna. Passionate about creative, disruptive businesses, Claude has worked for leading global companies and is now contributing to the transformation agenda in her own country, Benin, West Africa. A self-described entrepreneurial-minded strategist, she has an MBA from the Anderson School at UCLA, University of California in Los Angeles, and a bachelor's degree from McGill University. Claude's career has spanned multiple roles. She started as a senior consultant with Deloitte, advising clients on their e-commerce operations. Immersed in the dot-com world, ladies and gentlemen, it was an amazing time in high tech, the dot-com world. She joined Amazon to drive highly strategic categories such as movies in the UK and jewelries in the US. She then moved to Sony Pictures, where she established the European Business Planning and Innovation team in London and was appointed Senior Vice President. I did say Senior Vice President for Global Customers and Worldwide Commercial Strategies. A startup enthusiast, she has also co-founded and advised several successful and also not so successful businesses. In 2016, Claude joined the presidency of Benin to conceive and implement the International Knowledge and Innovation City called Semicity. This innovation hub now hosts best-in-class academic institutions, research facilities, and startup incubators. As Managing Director and Chief Innovation Officer, Claude is excited to lead a team with responsibilities ranging from attracting prestigious academic and entrepreneurship programs to negotiating global partnerships, launching new digital platforms, planning and building an eco-city and a smart eco-city in Africa, and experimenting with innovative solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredible guest for us today. Claude strongly believes that this type of unprecedented collaboration between academia, entrepreneurship is the key to transform Africa. So Claude, Borna, a warm welcome from Acosphere and all the guests on Instagram today.
Thank you, Gilles. And first, let me say thanks to Nadia and you for giving me an opportunity today to come and have a chat, tell my story.
Thank you so much, Claude. Should we get right into it?
Let's go.
Excellent. You have had a career that spans several industries: management consultancy in the e-commerce business with Deloitte, high tech with Amazon, and I believe you were one of the first 100 employees with Amazon UK, one of the first 100 employees with Amazon UK. I don't know how many thousands of employees they must have today. And the film industry with Sony Pictures, to name a few of your skills. Claude, what is your story?
That's a good question. What's my story? I think maybe to tell my story, I need to go way back. I need to go back to a time where I was maybe 5-year-old, and tell you something I haven't shared with anybody until today. My sister and I used to play a game, and it was a fantastic game. We were inventing a completely new world, and our world was called Ebony Coast. And Ebony Coast was a country in Africa where we had different characters living their lives, building their businesses. There were politicians, there were fashion designers, and they lived and they had parties and they had closets full of nice clothes, and they had relationships, and this world existed for us because we were drawing, we were looking in magazines, and we were doing boards, and in a way for us, we had already defined what our Africa was. It was a place where young people were successful, they were thriving, and that place was so real to us. We actually played this game until we were in our 20s. And I want to go back to that because today I'm in a position where I'm driving a transformation agenda in Africa, and somehow to me it feels a little bit like Ebony Coast. And I'm delighted to come and tell my story.
Fascinating story from the early age of 4 or 5 to today, the Ebony Coast. and building Africa today. The dream has come true. Is really, you're really living it. So could you kindly share with us maybe three, four, I mean, you have a very rich corporate experience, three, four anecdotes related to the challenges and opportunities that you may have faced in building your career?
Okay. I'm going to share a couple of stories, maybe from Amazon, because when I joined Amazon, I mean, we look at Amazon today and it's that huge company, and they're, you know, I think they're number one. I think they're head of Walmart now. And we forget where Amazon came from. And yes, indeed, I was one of the first employees at Amazon, and I left a job in consulting to go work for Amazon, and it was a big risk because at the time there were a lot of dot-com companies going bust, and I didn't really know what I would do there. So, but it just sounded so exciting. I was like, okay, let me try this maybe for a couple of years, and if it doesn't work, I'm still young, I can go do something else. So I showed up on day one, and my boss at the time, a fantastic lady called Sheila Farrell, who's a good friend now, the first thing she asked me was, okay, you're going to build your desk. And I'm like, what? She's like, you see these wooden doors over there? You have to put them on the feet, and then they are going to be your desk. And I thought, okay, let me do that. And then I realized that actually everyone at Amazon had a door desk. And to me, that is something that is still, that I carry with me every day, because this is a good example of how frugality, of how you can use very simple things to innovate. And it became, I don't know, I haven't been to an Amazon office lately, but I think they still have those door desks, and it's a reminder to people at Amazon that it's still day one, and that with very simple things, they can innovate and they can actually save money. And then the second thing Sheila asked me to do when we sat down at my door desk, and I was trying not to get my trousers ruined by by the wooden door, she was like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, oh. I've left a very structured world of consulting. When you get, when you join, you have like a stack full of, information about what you can do. And I come here, and that woman is asking me what I want to do. And, it threw me off for a second. And then I realized, well, maybe what she's asking me is, how do you want to make a difference in this place? And this was the mentality that I've kept at Amazon, because I've stayed there for 5 years. I've moved to different jobs, and every time I was going into jobs that I had no idea I could do. I knew nothing about jewelry. I was sent to the US to launch a jewelry business. And that thing about, you're a little bit in an uncomfortable place, but it's okay, because that's what drives you. That's what makes you work harder. That's what makes you take on a challenge. And this is, I guess this is why Amazon is where they are today, because they were able to give those values to the people who work there. And even when you leave that place, you still have that. And this is something that with my team today, this is something that I try to do, and make sure that, I push them a little bit in uncomfortable places, but they have a safety net, and they know that there is help for them to succeed and to challenge themselves. So that was Amazon. After Amazon, I moved to Sony Pictures, and I think one of the stories from Sony that I remember is actually going to an event. And at that event, I saw a British gentleman who was dressed in like a very bright purple suit, very dapper. I'm like, wow, who's that guy? I just want to know what he stands out. And we ended up talking, and he was the head of the British creative association that where they had all the advertising agencies and all the different agencies that were in the creative world. And we ended up spending most of I don't even remember what the event was, but we ended up talking about the lack of diversity in creative industries. And he made me realize, because I had worked for Sony for several years, and I hadn't even realized that I was the only Black executive, not just in London, but in the whole of Europe.
Wow.
And then he called me the following week and said, would you be interested in talking to young people from diverse background about what you do? And I'm like, well, okay, I'm not sure I have much to say, but I'll do it. And that was something that really has transformed me. And I think it's one of the reasons why I do what I do today. I met with high school students, they were from, I guess, 15 to 17, and they asked me a ton of information about what I was doing, why I chose to do that. They started, sharing information about their families not wanting to do work in the creative industries because, they wanted them to be doctors or lawyers, and they were so happy to see somebody in that industry that looked like them. But they taught me a lot. What they taught me was, follow your dreams and empower people to follow their dreams. And I remember even when I left Sony, I told them, we need to continue this program. And I guess what I do today at Semicity is empowering people to follow their dreams. And I guess I owe it to that man in his purple suit who invited me to talk to the young ones over there. So
wow, rich experiences and stories. Thank you for that. So from getting from a very structured world to build your desk, and then meeting this individual who takes you in front of students to actually share with them your story, and you probably transformed a lot of lives there. It transformed yours for sure. Today, you are the Managing Director and Chief Innovation Officer of Semicity. What is Semicity, and what does your role entail?
What is Semicity? That's the question I'm being asked. I don't know if I count at least 20 times a day. So Semicity is a project that we started 4 years ago with the idea of putting together in one place people from different worlds, students, entrepreneurs, and researchers. And our goal is that by working together, they are going to accelerate innovation, to come up with ideas and implement those ideas, because a lot of researchers, a lot of academics have fantastic ideas, but they never get to implement them. Our startups have a lot of great ideas, but they may not have the technical abilities to do them properly. And so the idea is to put them all together in one place and to really give them the tools to work together and implement and drive solutions that are going to transform their world, that are going to transform our world, that are going to transform Africa and beyond. So my team is composed of people coming from different backgrounds. We do partnerships. We put together programs to help startups. We have schools. We have one fantastic computer science school called Epitech, and another one for design. It's actually a school that is the first one in Africa to give a degree, a bachelor degree for design. It's Africa Design School. We have research centers. So it's coming together in a very interesting way, because it takes a life of its own. The partnerships that happen sometimes with our help, sometimes without our help, because those people are in the same environment and they find synergies in what they do. So our mission is, that's what our mission is. It's to empower people with the skills they need to succeed. And while doing this, create something that's inclusive, that's sustainable, and that is really going to transform our Africa.
Excellent. I just picked up when you were speaking that you have this Africa Design School. You may know him already, but as I'm thinking of it, Hisham Nakhlu is a guy that you need to talk to. He's a part of the World Design Organization. You seem to know him already.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll connect you with him. So what in your trade and in your activities makes you an international public speaker? I know you speak in many parts of the world, actually. And where do you get the confidence to stand there and speak? How do you command the attention of the public?
I don't always have the confidence to do that. I guess when I'm speaking, it's mostly about what I do, about Semicity. As I said, I hear that question so many times a day, and in a way, we help our entrepreneurs pitch, but I pitch constantly. I pitch to students, I pitch to entrepreneurs, I pitch to public officials, I pitch to people who are interested in funding us but don't really know what we do. I pitch to journalists. I pitch to my team most of the time as well, because I'm trying to push a little bit the envelope about what we can do, and I want to make sure that everyone is on board. And so you were asking me where I'm getting the confidence to do this. I guess it's because I love what I do. I love what I do, and I want to share it. I'm passionate about it, and that gives me the confidence to talk about it. That gives me the confidence to stand in front of a room full of people, or to have a difficult conversation with one individual, do it on one-to-one. This is public speaking to me as well. But I believe if it comes from within, if you're passionate about what you do, that's going to give you confidence. I'll share it with you and you know it. I'm someone who's an introvert. I'm very shy. I am never comfortable at the idea of going and doing public speaking. But then I'm like, okay, but I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to say that. And that gets me excited. And that's how I find, the enthusiasm to do it. And I actually, once I start talking about it, when I'm on stage, or when I'm pitching to my team, I'm enjoying it because I like what I'm talking about.
So somebody, Laurence is saying, and it's summarizing what many people are saying, it's all about passion, and we can feel it, Claude. So, people are listening to you and are just enthusiastic and getting that energy, that emotional energy that you're sharing with everyone. It's amazing. I'm just flabbergasted. Let me ask you a different question now. We have listeners around the world, America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. What advice would you give to those among them who are aspiring entrepreneurs?
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a tough question, because excuse my language, you can bullshit your way for an answer, or you can be very real. There is a lot going on. As I said, we pitch all day long. There is quite a lot happening, and for someone to stand out, you really have to go deep into yourself and see how you can make a difference, how you're going to be memorable, how what you're going to do or say is going to be different from the rest. And I think that's the first advice that I would give them. It's really try and be true to yourself about, what I'm doing. Is it really going to make a difference? Is it really something that is going to be of value to somebody? And if it's not, then my second advice is don't fake it. we see sometimes entrepreneurs come and they use all the buzzwords and they say certain things, and then when you ask them a very simple questions, it throws them out because they're faking it. Don't fake it. And there are several reasons why you shouldn't fake it. Entrepreneurship is hard work. Work hard. Be prepared. Today, if you have a smartphone and an internet connection, you can be as prepared as anybody. There is a ton of information online. You can train yourself. You can know about, anticipate the questions that are going to be asked. You can find out what has made other ventures successful. Do your homework and never stop. Never think that, oh, okay, my last speech was good, so now I can, it's gonna be easy for the next ones. Never. Every day, think about, how can I improve what I did and what I said yesterday. That's how it is, because the guy next door, the gal next door is thinking about how they can improve upon what you've done. So you always have to be one step ahead, always one step ahead. And if you're true to yourself and you're always anticipating what's going to be your next move, the world is your oyster.
So be one step ahead and differentiate yourself. Don't fake it. What does innovation represent for you personally and for Benin, and how do you continuously learn?
I think innovation, this is my favorite word in the dictionary. I think innovation, actually someone was telling me, boy, how many times do you say that word in a day? And then you asked me what it means for Benin. One exercise that we did with my team is, there are different languages in Benin. And I think they're like 20 something, even more. And we tried to find the translation of innovation in our local languages, and we couldn't find it. It didn't exist. Yeah. And this is really to tell us that we're in a territory that's quite new, even for us here. When we talk about Semicity and we say, it's a knowledge and innovation city, I know people are like, what are they talking about? Because what we don't realize, and it's in our culture, actually people innovate every day. They do so much with very little resources. We're very resourceful, and innovation doesn't mean that you need to have gone to school and have a PhD, and not at all. Innovation happens in many different places. And for me, innovation is in a way what we do with Semicity. It's connecting the dots so that what you do collectively makes a difference. And this is why it's so powerful in Africa. It's so powerful. I think if you look even at the way the response to the COVID-19 crisis, how you can see fantastic local innovation in Africa. And they're high tech, and low tech as well. Yeah. But it's that, and this is where you realize that, the answers, we have answers. We may not have all of them, but we have a lot of very good answers in Africa. Maybe we don't believe it ourselves, and maybe we haven't been given the chance to show what we can do. And in a way, that crisis is giving us a chance to show the world, what we can do and how we can find solutions to our problems. This to me, innovation to me is what is really going, I believe, is really going to be a fantastic contribution to transform our continent, and especially for young ones who go into fields that their parents have never gone to. I think it's such a fantastic opportunity. I like the time we're living in.
So you like the time we're living in. It's a fantastic opportunity for younger people to transform Africa and show the world what Africa can do. Thank you. I understand that you manage a team of people who work with you, and that you also interact with different organizations in Benin and globally. Therefore, at times, you have to manage people who are not part of your direct team, on specific projects. What challenges and opportunities does this represent for you?
Yeah, as I said, you know, Semicity, we're not ourselves a university or an incubator or research center. Or what we do is put people together. So it's creating the framework where everyone fits and can do what they do at a much faster and with more impact. So I think maybe one way of visualizing it is if you listen to Oprah, Oprah Winfrey,
Yeah.
she talks about those moments that she called aha moment. You know,
Aha.
it's that moment when you're in a meeting and all of a sudden you're like, you know, it makes sense. You know, that you have a sudden, like, you know, all of a sudden things that, you know, you were hearing, you were like, that really doesn't align to what I thought. All of a sudden the dots are getting connected. And this is what happens with our partners. And I'll be honest, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you're in meetings and you're like, okay, they don't understand us, we don't understand them. It won't happen. And it doesn't matter how big the partner is or how important they are. If you're not thinking in the same way, or if you're not having shared objectives, it won't happen. But then you always you have those times where you have that aha moments. We just had one earlier today. I won't mention that, but we were talking to a partner that, you know, it was a potential partner, an academic partner, and they explained why they're doing what they're doing, and we just had an aha moment about, no, these people, we have to work with them. We have to find a way to do something together, because it's this meeting of minds. And I guess it doesn't matter where, if you're from Benin, if you're from Senegal, if you're from the States, if you're, you know, those aha moments happen because you guys are thinking in the same way, and you're looking at making an impact that is the same, and you'll have those moments. And this is, I guess, our discussions, our pitches, everything we do is to find those aha moments so that we can move forward and do things that really have an impact.
Well, we're learning so much, Claude. Thank you so much. We're going to go a little bit over time today because there's so many nuggets, golden nuggets that you're sharing with us, and one or two questions from the public that I want to take. Let me take one right now from the public. Somebody is asking, what are you the most proud of in the things that you do?
You know, it's a very difficult question for me to answer, because I think what I'm the most proud of, I haven't done yet. It's still day one. It's Amazon. You know, what I've done yesterday, I may have been happy yesterday, but, you know, today I want to do more. So I always look forward. So I'm the most proud of what I'm going to do next. If that's a good answer.
That's a very, very good answer. Thank you so much. You have studied in Canada and in the USA, and in the face of the current discussions around race, diversity, and inclusion, what are some of your insights?
First of all, I have to say, I've lived in many different countries in Africa, in Europe, in the States, in North America. And I've been very fortunate, actually, to have studied in prestigious universities. I've been very, in a way, blessed to have had those opportunities. And maybe one thing, and I guess to me that was a shock, something that happened to me when I was doing my MBA in Los Angeles. And when you go through an MBA, a very defining moment is finding a job. And students are getting prepared to do their interviews, and the second year is mostly interviews, and you want to work for the top firms, and it's really a very stressful time. And I remember I've gone through an interview process with one of the top 5 consulting firms. I won't say the name. And I got to the final round, and it was in Chicago. So went to the interview. I was pumped up. I was happy to have made it to the final round and to meet, you know, the managing director. And I walked into the room and he looked at me and said, I'm expecting Claude Borna. So Claude, male, female, I guess he wanted a male. Borna, you know, could be Italian. And so he looked at me like, what are you doing here, you black woman, you know? And he said, well, I said, Claude Borna, it's me. And he said, well, no. You know, when I'm going to send you to my clients, they'll say, where did you get this one from? Where did you get this one from? He told me. And I mean, you know, it was the worst interview I've ever done because I was completely shocked that someone at that level could say something like this in an interview setting and think he could get away with it, or he actually did. So I went back to the career center that day and I told them what happened. They contacted him and asked him how he could have said something so insensitive. And then he said, well, you know, I was just trying to help her. It's really hard for, you know, people like her, you know, in the consulting world. And, you know, if she wants a job, I could give it to her, but she won't succeed. And I actually ended up joining another consulting firm, but to that day, where did you get this one from, is something that, well, not only I think about it when I go into meetings, but you are extra conscious about the perception that others are going to have of you because you're a black woman walking into a meeting where sometimes it's only men or sometimes you're the only black person, as it was the case at Sony. And one thing I have to say is with what's happening right now and people talking about it, a lot of times at Sony, I kind of felt maybe uncomfortable because I was the only executive there, because there weren't much diversity in my teams. But I didn't say anything because you're in a situation where you're like, you know, I'm in a good situation. I have a good job. Why rock the boat? Maybe I can try and do some diversity outreach things, but you know, maybe black people don't want to work in the creative industries. Maybe, and you make yourself, you know, excuses for not speaking up. And I have to say, you know, I wish I had. And it's not too late. Actually, I'm going to write a nice letter to my friends at Sony. I mean, I'm glad that actually people are speaking up. I am glad that I get to even do this interview and talk about it, because these are things I've never spoken about this before. And now we're giving the opportunity to actually share those things that are very important, and we should talk about it and we should be loud.
Thank you for sharing this very troubling experience with us all, Claude. But it happens hundreds, if not thousands of times. And even what's worse is some very talented individuals, whether they're from Africa, from Asia, from wherever in the world, they are talented, don't even get a seat at the table to have the interview. So thank you for sharing and making us more aware of these issues. What tips about public speaking, the film industry, innovation made in Africa, which you're very proud of and we're all proud of, or entrepreneurship, would you like to give to our audience before we part?
Know your story. My story started with Ebony Coast. Know your story, know what makes you passionate, and bring that to the world. I think we all want to hear passionate stories, and that's really my best tip about public speaking is know your story and share it with others.
Thank you. So know your story and share it with others. Before we part, a couple more things. The audience is just on fire. They love what you're saying. They're very grateful and thankful. And we thank you all for being here. Keep coming to our Thursday live interviews. We're going to share more people from around the world, not just of African descent, but from around the world, their experiences, their rich experiences with you. Any final messages, Claude?
Well, Acosphere, Semicity, coming soon to a screen near you, so watch the space, and really, thank you very much for that opportunity. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are very, very grateful. And before we close, let me just make a few announcements. On the 17th of August, ladies and gentlemen, we will be celebrating our 15th anniversary as Acosphere. Watch this space. There will be some interesting things on that date and in the weeks following. Claude, before I say thank you, we have another extraordinary speaker next week. We're very fortunate and very grateful to all of you for accepting to come to these Insta-Live interviews. Next week, we'll have Deza Gembok from E&H Lab. Ngeza is different. From birth, she had a different physical appearance, and she transformed the world in France and around the world with her marketing skills and her ability to change the mindset of people. It will be incredible next week again. So please make sure that you put it in your agenda, in your schedule, and you are with us. Claude, it's been great. I've been learning so much. Your energy is contagious. You must speak more. You must be more in front of TV sets, and people need to interview you. People need to know you. The public was saying that, you know, finally I'm getting to know the story of Claude. Incredible story, and you continue to change lives. Thank you so very much, Claude. It's been a blessing. It's been an honor.
Thanks.
Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Get